All right, let's get this thing started. My name's Alex Graywit. I am a Witchfinder General enthusiast, and I'm going to show off some of my record collection and some rare memorabilia from the band that a couple people asked for. So, of course, we have the classic album from 1982. This is their first studio album, Death Penalty. This is just the Back on Black reissue. I still have to get my hands on an original copy. So everyone knows that one. Arguably the best thing they ever did. And before that, they did the Burning a Sinner 7-inch and the Soviet Invasion 12-inch. Second album is Friends of Hell, released in fall of 1983, I believe. Also a Back on Black reissue, and now we're getting to some of the rare stuff. Hopefully you can see this. This was the album, was this 2006, I think? This is the Resurrected album. So Witchfinder General put out their first two albums, and then Phil and Zeeb called it quits around 1984, but they were still working on an untitled album back then. It was supposed to be the third Witchfinder General album, and then there was a reunion without Zeeb, and they put together this album called the Resurrected album, and you can see comes with just a black LP. I like this album. A lot of people are not fans of it due to the vocals and some of the mixing, which is arguably a problem. But I think considering the story and everything that the band went through, I think we're really fortunate to have this. And I enjoy the music. Obviously, Phil is the star of the show. I've always loved his guitar playing. He's second to Tony Iommi in my opinion. Just some studio pictures of them. Some old memorabilia there, you can see. Hopefully the lighting's good. Yeah, so I'm gonna show that off. Some of this in order. And this is pretty hard to come by nowadays. I bought this off a friend a couple years ago, I wanna say in, was it 2018? So, real diehards for the band, they like this album, including me. Some people get totally turned off by it, but this is the Resurrected LP. Old Conqueror Worm, horror. They stole that from the poster from back in the day. So that's Resurrected. And this is called, the true name of it is Buried Amongst the Ruins. This was a compilation that the guys from Buried by Time and Dust record label put together. So this compiles everything before Death Penalty. So this will be the Burning a Sinner 7-inch, which has Burning a Sinner and Satan's Children on it. And clearly a repress. And it also has the Soviet Invasion 7-inch, or excuse me, 12-inch, plus a live show from 1981 with a super rare song called Phantasmagorical on there. And you can see there's the set list. There's the sleeve. Some cool stuff there. This is the Die Hard edition. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is green vinyl. The 7-inch over here. This is green too, I believe. You can see that, kind of a translucent green. Oh, maybe I should hold on to the record. So that's pretty cool. And with this version, it's hanging in my basement. I'll have to do that for the second video. But they have, there's a poster with the boys and the first bass player, Johnny Fisher, posing in front of a rock wall, which might be, yeah, right here. There's a poster of them that's included in this edition. There's some notes from Phil, obviously. Lots of cool stuff in here. Handwritten lyrics from back in the day. Phil with his Laney clip amps and his 1963 SG right there. That's sometime in 1981. I didn't look at the date of the show, but more handwritten lyrics. There's Zeeb and Tosh McCready, Steve Kinsel, Phil's cousin. More pics from back in the day. That's my favorite picture of Phil. The Diamond Head t-shirt on. I'm trying to see if I know any of those people. I'm pretty sure that's Rocky. That's their roadie. That's on the front of the Death Penalty album. That's Johnny Fisher. That's the first bass player before they had Toss McCready. Looks like they're drinking Guinness there. It's a neat little package they put together. I really enjoy this one. But who wouldn't? It's Witchfinder General, right? And I'm not gonna take this out. It's just the Burning Center 7-inch green translucent vinyl. So pop that back in there. Up next, also from Buried by Time and Dust Records, they have the Death Penalty and Friends of Hell compilation. It's just a repress of the first two albums, but it does come with this really sweet booklet with all the lyrics printed from the first two albums, which I guess if you have the original albums from 82 and 83, not all the copies came with these lyric inserts. More liner notes from Phil from the various days, 82 and 83, when they were together. A couple magazine articles with Joanne Latham. That's from the Friends of Hell sessions, I believe, because Rod Hawks is there on bass. Outtake photo from Friends of Hell. More pics that probably a lot of people have seen. Those two guys, that's Sean Fulton, who was Phil's roadie, and that's Durham Redmond, Durham the Germ. He was the drummer on Live 83 after they sacked Graham Ditchfield, who's not in any of these photos. These photos are from 1981. Here's Phil with a couple ladies, Zeeb. Trying to think if there's anything. I always thought that was interesting because I had heard that their tour only lasted a week for Friends of Hell. I think it was July of 1983, but interestingly enough, they have that show from Saturday, June 25th, 1983. Maybe that was the first show that they ever did for that tour. But I heard from Sean that only lasted a week, which is very interesting how quickly the legend of Witchfinder General has grown since then. Ex-Mal Deutschland, good band. Just more old magazine articles, and that tour shirt I may have only seen that once, but that's super cool. The heaviest rock band in the world. So, just two represses of the original albums with an alternate shot on the back of Friends of Hell, excuse me. It's the same otherwise. I usually play these. I don't play the back on black versions. But Buried by Time and Dust did an amazing job with that repress. And even better, my favorite album that they ever did for Witchfinder General was Live 83. This is a compilation of two shows that they played in July. I believe it was July 6th and July 7th, 1983 at Tiffany's. And a little bit of the show is from a place called The Poly at Humberstone Gate. And I have the normal version, which some of the posters and stuff is hanging in my basement where my guitar is, but I also have the Die Hard version, which I'm going to show off. Oh, one other quick thing that I forgot to say. With the Buried Amongst the Ruins compilation, they put this slip mat together that you can play on your record player, so I thought that was super cool. It's white on the back, but It says Starbridge Doom Metal on it. Very cool piece of memorabilia. Not sure how many people have that, but I wanted to show that off. And that comes with this record, if you could see that. I'm doing this all off the cuff, so just bear with me. So this is my favorite record in my collection. This is the Die Hard version of Live 83. As I said, it's a double album. There's a bunch of calligraphy in here that was done by Onik from Temple of Mystery Records. And the record itself, if I can pull it out. The record itself, I believe, is a splatter. Yep, red splatter. I believe the other one's white splatter. It comes with a poster, which I got one of these hanging up in my basement. Pretty cool. Old Vincent Price. And I know there's something else in here. There's a nice little sticker. There was a patch too. I put it on one of my flannel shirts, but I don't have that available right now. I think the patch either came with this Die Hard version, or maybe it came with one of the other records. It's hard for me to remember. I'd have to look it up. But the cool thing about this release, if I get all this stuff back in here real quick for you. The coolest thing about this release, besides being a two-tone vinyl, as I said, this is white splatter. Let me see that. This, to me, has the most comprehensive interview with Phil ever done. I know Liam on the Witchfinder General website also did a big interview with him, which is slightly different from this one. But this shows shots of them on the Friends of Hell tour. Pretty darn good photos, too. There's Phil with his 63 SG, and he had the backup Explorer somewhere under. There's Rod Hawks and Zeeb. There's the rare sticker from 1981. What is it? Yeah, the Poly, Humberstone Gate in Leicester. Budgie was playing back then too. Getty's Axe, another one of my favorite bands. And this begins the long interview with Phil. And if you ever want to know anything about Witchfinder General, you can check out this huge interview with him. Pretty comprehensive. There's Zeeb in front of Phil's Laney clips that he used to have back in the day. He wired up 3 100-watt Laney clips with, would that be six Laney clip cabinets, most of them with Celestion 30-watt greenbacks, except for one cabinet that was mic'd up. That was 15-watt greenbacks. And there's Zeeb. Old photos that we saw before. Yeah, that's top 3 records in my collection for sure. See if I can get these in here nicely. Probably not. Oh, I'm in. Nice. So that's Live 83 from Witchfinder General, buried by Time and Dust Records. Get it if you can. Now we'll get to some of the more personal stuff. As you saw, this is the slip mat from the Buried Amongst the Ruins compilation. And let's see if we can dig a little bit deeper. This is the music / Last Chance 7-inch that was from 1983. Both the songs are almost exactly the same on the Friends of Hell LP, except the version of music on this record, the solo is slightly truncated. I think it's just a small edit. The song's like 20 seconds shorter. The really cool thing about this is, clearly the top side of this is silver, And this is almost like a bronze color. I've never seen a record like this. But if you turn it over to the side that plays music, I gotta find it. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but right where my thumb ends, you can see Phil Cope and Zeeb Parks' handwritten names in there. I'm not sure if every version has that, but at least mine does. Maybe if you own it, you can check and comment below if all of them have it or not. I'm pretty sure they all do, but I could be wrong. I'm just trying to move it so you can see it in the camera. I don't know how well it's working. But that's a kind of a cool little single. I'm not getting anything new music-wise, but it's cool to have. Now, this is the rarest Witchfinder General recording that is available to the public. If you buy the diehard version of Live 83, this is the bonus 7-inch single that came, and the encore of that show from Tiffany's, I believe, was music. And then they have a radio clip from 1983, and I posted it on my channel. They just kind of go through when the police were taking photos of them at the church at Enville, and they mentioned Joanne's name, and then Zeeb basically goes through that he wasn't surprised that the band didn't get busted or fined or anything or jail time for taking the photos, because it was just kind of a reflection on what Matthew Hopkins did back in the day in the 1600s to witches and killing people and all the heresy and crap that went on back then. So this is the Die Hard bonus single, as I said, music from Live 83, which you cannot find anywhere except on this record, and the radio clip, and I'll pull that out really quick. The odd thing about this is if you play it, this hole is very, very oversized for a 7-inch record. So getting it exactly square on your record player, be very careful about that. Then this side obviously is not playable. There's just a bunch of stickers and cool shit on there with the old Witchfinder General Demon logo from back in the day. And that's the media. So super cool little 7-inch. Apparently a lot of people didn't know about, and they were asking about it. So that's the rarest. That's the rarest media that the public can get their hands on for Witchfinder General. That release. What else do we got in here? This sticker is supposedly pretty rare. This is from 1980 or 1981. The boys printed a bunch of these. There's nothing on the back, just some creasing to pull the sticker off. But I guess they used to, Sean Fulton said they used to put these on their bus route and stick them around the place, and they complained, people would complain to Heavy Metal Records that they kept finding these on their bus route around Stourbridge. So if Sean watches this, maybe he can chime a little bit more in on that story, but that's a rare sticker from 1981 that we saw in one of the booklets. What else do we got here? I've got 3 of these. These were gifted to me from Phil. This is just another little poster of Witchfinder General logo from back in the day. I'm not sure what year this is from. It's probably 1980 or 1981, I'm guessing, but it's pretty cool. Actually, I got 4 of these. I got one hanging up in my basement. So just plain yellow paper, nothing special, but it is official. And there's the other 2. Got a couple more things. That is a Witchfinder General pin. I think there's 2 or 3 different kinds of these. This is the smallest one. This is just white with the little Witchfinder General demon. There's nothing on the back. I don't know if you can see that a little bit better. Get up close. It's It's got a little rust and schmutz on it. I guess there's a black one that's just says the band logo with an inverted cross on it, and then there's an even bigger black button like that, but I don't own any of them. I just own this thing. I guess this is pretty rare. I'm not sure what it's worth, but that's pretty cool. And the last thing, or we'll say second to last thing, I was very fortunate this past year in 2024 to purchase 2 of Phil's original cabinets from back in the day and his fuzz pedal. So this is an original receipt just before his birthday in 1976 when he bought his first Laney 4x12. It looks like it was worth 95 pounds. It's dated May 8th, 1976 from the Music Exchange in Birmingham. It says Mr. Cope, Laney 4x12 with a VAT tax on it. Hopefully you guys can see that. That must have been the store clerk. I can't read that. But that was pretty cool. When I bought the cabinets, they came with that receipt. And then I don't have the pedal with me. That's back in my basement. But this is the bottom of the pedal, and I'll be sure to show that off in the next video. I don't keep the bottom of the pedal on it because it runs off a battery and I want to run it straight into a 9-volt system. So this is just the bottom of it. It's a Park Fuzz pedal from either the late 1960s or the early 1970s. It's basically a Sola-Sound tone bender. And this is a handwritten drawing of how Phil used to set it live, and I'm not sure if he set it this way in the studio, but the pedal is kind of made backwards. The fuzz control, if you want it full on, it's counterclockwise, but he put the volume on full and the tone full to the bass frequencies, so that was pretty cool. There's nothing on the back. I don't think there's anything inside, but he drew that up for me when I bought the fuzz pedal off him. So hopefully you got a little better idea of some of the memorabilia that's out there. I'm going to be showing off the cabinets, his fuzz pedal, and if I forgot anything, I'll have some more for the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this.